Hello, my name's Jack and this is my YouTube channel. In today's video I'm going to be talking about the Apex Legends Holiday Bash event. That's right, the 2020 event that I spoke about just the other day. I'm going to be talking about it again, but not just any same video. I'm going to be talking about the Winter Express specifically. You can check out my last video which spoke about the skins, but today I'm going to be talking about the Holiday Express or the Winter Express train and the event and basically how it works. And I've got a few tips and tricks which I think you guys will find useful from what I've played so far. So what is the Winter Express event? Well, the Winter Express event is a limited time game mode which is released on December the 1st for Apex Legends. It's in each match there are 3 teams and there's 3 players, so it's 3v3, okay? Well, 3v3v3, which I suppose 9 players, I guess. But hey, basically you play and you face off against each other with the objective of capturing the train. That's right, that train is your aim. If you can aim for the train, it's your gain. Yeah, I don't know where I'm going with that. The train can be captured in 1 or 2 ways. You can either do it by filling up the capture bar, so at the bottom of the screen there's like a capture bar, without being contested by enemies, or being the last team alive. So basically kill everyone on the train, which kind of reminds me of a film. Anyway, the match ends when one of the team manages to capture the train in 3 turns. So yes, there's 3 turns in total. There are, however, some aspects of this mode that are different from normal Apex matches. Players, they will spawn in a predetermined loadout with weapons and items, which are different for each legend. Loadouts change on a daily basis. So each loadout will be different, so as you go into the character, let's say Lober, she'll have a different guns, or even Pathfinder here have a different set of guns. So you want to probably find the right ones to go for. Respawning is allowed in this one, which is unlike the last holiday event. And once a player is eliminated, they can then join back in, but you got to go to other respawn points. The radius of the train is reduced, so the players are never too far from the action. So basically you can't escape from the train really. You can spawn away from the train, but you can't be running off around the map on the other side doing your own thing. You have to be fighting on the train. That's the whole point of this event. So now I've sort of explained roughly what the event is, I want to go through some tips. I've got about 10 good tips which you might find useful, well maybe find useful. For a noob like me, I discovered it and I thought, you know what, yeah, I'm going to share this with you guys because I think it's quite useful. So starting at number 1, basically just find the best loadout available. I know it's going to change daily, and you may have your favourite legends, but this game mode, although your favourite legends there, you might want to be looking at the loadout instead. So as I said previously, each legend has its own predetermined loadout. So you want to probably have a look first and check out all of the loadouts to see what's the best, the most powerful combination of weapons and items. So for a mode like this, you want to prioritize the loadout over your own legend of choice, because having a better setup is going to be more important. So let's say you're a Pathfinder fan like me and you really want to play Pathfinder. Pathfinder could have a Mozambique. Yes, I know it's a good gun, but you could have the Mozambique, or you could go to Gibraltar, which has a R99 for example. Well, you might want to go for the R99 over the Mozambique, unless you're a pro and you want to kill people with a Mozambique. That's the first tip. So make sure you do your research on what legend you want to be playing as first, because you want to know what their loadout is. Yes, like I said, it changes, but that's my tip number 1. Tip number 2, mix and match attachments with your teammates. So the cool thing about this, if you're playing in a pre-made, I mean you don't have to do it in just a pre-made, but you might be able to talk to people in game and they might be able to help you out. But your attachments, they can be dropped in the mode, so you can actually swap the attachments between each other. So the good thing about this is you can strategize with your teammates to swap the attachments, and you can maximize all the weapons potentials. So if you're a noob like me and I'm playing with, say, the gaming merchant, I might want to give all my attachments to him because I know he's going to kill a lot more people than me. So that's tip number 1. Anyway, a good example would be, let's say you have the Eva 8 shotgun, it comes with a red dot sight. That would be better to use on another gun, or you could get an extended mag on the Devotion. You know, that would turn it into quite a long-lasting machine. which would actually kill people longer. So yeah, just have a little bit of a think with your teammates as to what attachments you've got and what attachments you might want to swap around. So that kind of comes in the tip number 1 if you're going to play as a team. Number 3. You can actually use Lifeline's care package to get better loot. You might not know this, so although you have your predetermined loadouts, Lifeline's care package, the ultimate ability, can be activated in this limited time mode. The good thing about this is it means you and your team might end up being able to access powerful items which the other teams can't get. That includes stuff like purple armor, thermal scopes, you know, stuff similar to that. So if you're going to play a legend, think about Lifeline, but then you also, like I said, you got to think about her loadout. Number 4. Don't forget about the unlimited heals. So whether it's because of a glitch or intentionally designed, for some reason in this game mode you have unlimited healing. Yeah, that's good. You're basically a god. I don't know why. So even though your healing inventory only says that you have 1 syringe and 1 shield cell, you actually have more than it says. So make sure you take advantage of this feature because it can make a real difference between, you know, dying and staying alive, which for a noob like me, you probably want to put into practice. Tip number 5. Believe it or not, even though I've previously said that you are fighting on the train and you can't go running around the map, you don't actually have to land on the train. Yeah, that's right, you don't actually have to land there. You know, most people think, the train's, that's where the game mode is, we're going to land on there, we're going to kill each other. Well, a good strategy is probably not to. Instead, you might want to go for a high structure near the train and pick off the enemies from there with your predetermined loot. The good thing is you don't have to run in and loot. Although you have to remember that there are 3 other teams, you know, there's 3 teams fighting against each other, so you could always get the third party enemy players by getting the high ground and shooting them away from the train. So, you know, give it a go and have a go at landing away from the train. You can sometimes get the advantage. Step 6. Stay close enough to stop teams from capturing. This kind of comes into tip number 5. So although I said you don't have to land on the train right away, and it is a good move, you also got to make sure that you're not going to go too far away from the action, because you got to remember one of the objectives is to gain control of the train. So it's important that you and your team are close enough to jump down and contest the capture, otherwise you'll probably end up losing the round. Sorry. Number 7. Ditch a train after winning a round. That's one of the best tips we've got. It's a good idea to get off the train as soon as you win a round, because most players will spawn back in and go straight for it. You kind of want to treat each round like a new match, so aim for the high ground so that you can pick off gung-ho players who aggressively go for the train. Number 8. Attack from the front. Players who are on the train will probably expect to be attacked from either of the 2 sides or the back of the train, but never the front. Why not? Take them by surprise, if you know what I mean. They also forget the front side of the train is actually open, whereas I think last year it might not have been. This is a good strategy to land on the front of the train, so maybe go from the front of the train, and even though it's a good distance away, if you make your way towards the inland of the train and shoot the enemies on board who are looking the wrong way, you can actually get the advantage, and it's actually quite a good idea because it surprises a lot of players by just getting on the front of the train. Tip number 9. Play the Stalemate game if you need to. If you're finding yourself in a problem where winning the round is too difficult, just focus on trying to make sure the other 2 teams don't get either of the rounds. If you remember earlier on, I think I mentioned that each round is timed, and when the timer hits 0, and if no one captures the train, the next round will just start. So sometimes that's just the best option to go for. And you know, just making sure that nobody else captures it also means that you're not actually losing anything. Tip number 10. Multitasking, or knowing where your jump pads are. So the cool thing about this game mode, they've actually put a load of jump pads in to help you get to the train quickly at various points in the track. It might be that I get a video later on once I've learned a bit more about it, but you want to try learn where these jump pads are. You can not only use these to get to the train quickly, but you can also use them to get to certain areas of the map, especially high ground, you know, positioning. It just helps you out getting around the enemy. So if you know where those jump pads are, you can get the advantage in a fight when you're against these other teams. Another good thing is, when you use the jump pads, you can actually have enough time to pop a shield cell, so it's worth using them, especially if you know where they're to. And those are all the tips I have at the moment for the Winter Express. I'm sure they're not all the tips. I'm sure you guys will find loads of different things. I just thought they're a little bit gimmicky tips which you guys might find useful. You know, it's only been out a day, so I'm sure we'll find lots more, but what we've got at the moment I think is a good place to start. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. The support means a lot, especially in the last few videos. And I'll see you next time. Bye.